Dumb sheep. What insights can a 7-year-old's opinion on sheep give us about fear? Allow me to share a story. When I was a kid, my family spent summers at Grandpa's farm in the desert Southwest. Behind his house was a big barn filled with hay, a dusty corral, chickens, a horse, a milk cow, and sheep. It was a thrilling playground for a child. I loved playing cowboy, and sheep, being mostly docile, made great pretend cattle for my imaginary stampedes. I'd hoot and chase them around the corral, raising thick clouds of dust as they darted from corner to corner. It was fun. It was loud. It was dusty and wild. But I never considered how it might be affecting the sheep. One day, Grandpa gently intervened. He explained something that surprised my 7-year-old mind. Sheep could be frightened so badly, so deeply, that they might become sick, or even lay down and die, just from the fear. To me, sheep just seemed dumb. I mean, I was just playing. But decades later, I see something a little uncomfortable. People, myself included, can be just as dumb. Fear is an emotion every human feels. Scientists suggest fear has evolved as a survival mechanism, helping us recognize and respond to danger. In that sense, fear is useful, necessary even. But fear has a dark side. It's a bit of a con artist. While it alerts us to danger, it can also paralyze us, discourage us, or tempt us to quit entirely. It whispers, don't try, don't go, don't ask, don't change. And if we listen too long, we start to believe it. Like sheep, we sometimes respond irrationally to fear, giving up when we should be pushing forward. Fear, in all its forms, fuels poor decisions, sabotages relationships, and limits personal growth. It drives impulse purchases through fear of missing out. It stops romances before they start. It sparks conflicts rooted in pride and insecurity. Fear has sunk dreams, ruined careers, and kept people from finding their voice. But we're not sheep, and we don't have to act like we are. Take Florence Nightingale, for example. She was born into wealth and comfort, a life of tea parties and piano recitals, but Florence felt an unshakable calling to become a nurse, at a time when nursing was considered only slightly more respectable than grave robbing. Her family opposed it. Society mocked it. She feared social ruin and disappointing everyone she loved. But she went ahead and did it anyway. And during the Crimean War, she braved disease and battlefield chaos and revolutionized medical care and saved thousands of lives. She later wrote, "How very little can be done under the spirit of fear, and how much, it turns out, can be done when you push past it." Now, I get it. We may not be laboring in wartime hospitals, but fear sneaks into everyday life too. Sometimes it's in our relationships, the fear of vulnerability, the fear of saying the wrong thing, the fear of trying again. Sometimes it's in our work, fear of failure or embarrassment, of falling short. Sometimes it's just the fear of change. And sometimes fear really is tied to real danger. Like 200,000 miles from Earth in a broken spaceship. In 1970, the Apollo 13 capsule suffered an explosion on board. With failing systems and limited oxygen, the odds of getting the astronauts home alive were plummeting by the hour. And that's not metaphorical fear. That's staring into the cavernous, "this is probably going to kill me" void. And yet, no one panicked. Mission Control didn't scream. The astronauts didn't crumble. They focused. They adapted. They rationed power, engineered on the fly, and turned the phrase, "failure is not an option," into something more than just a line in a movie. Fear was there, but they didn't let it steer. And that's the point. You don't have to eliminate fear. You just have to take the keys away. Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You must do the thing you think you cannot do." And that's not just poetic, it's practical. And Winston Churchill, the man who held Britain together as bombs fell over London, he said it a little more bluntly. He said, "Fear is a reaction. Courage is a decision." He never denied fear. He just refused to be ruled by it. So, are you struggling with fear? Don't let it lock you into a lesser life. Seek guidance, talk with trusted friends, professionals, or spiritual mentors. In the sacred texts like the Bible, the advice is simple. "Peace I leave with you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid." But fear is real. And so is resilience. And fear, more often than not, is an absolutely abysmal decision maker. Analyze it. Is fear protecting you or just holding you back? If it's protecting you, that's okay. Take precautions, make a plan, and take action. But if it's just holding you back, find a new approach. Take a step forward anyway. Plato is often credited with saying, "We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light." Whether he said it or not, word for word, the wisdom still rings true. Overcoming fear, facing it, naming it, choosing to act anyway, that's how wisdom is earned. That's how confidence is born. So here's the ounce. Even a 7-year-old knows surrendering to fear, like sheep sometimes do, is just dumb. Not because fear isn't real, but because life is. And that's it. An ounce submitted for your consideration. Before you go, don't be a sheep. Think for yourself. Hit that like button, act bravely, subscribe, and maybe take a bold leap into the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. No hurting required. And may I courageously suggest you'd probably love these other videos too. So get on the look. Thanks.